Hey crafters, welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm G, and if you are new to our channel, welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much. We have a really fun card today. It's called a matchbook pop-up card. And what makes it so special is that when you open it up, the image pops up and it greets you. It's such a cheery card. So let's head down to the crafting table and let's get started. It pops open and then this beautiful image pops up. And then to close it, you just put it right back under this little tab. So much fun. We need to make our base card. And so you need to cut your cardstock 3 3/4 by 9 3/4, and then we're going to score at 5 1/4. So let's go ahead and extend our arm if you're using a Stampin' Up trimmer. And we're going to turn it long ways, and we're just going to cut it at 9 3/4. Now we're going to turn it the short way, or portrait, and we're going to cut it at 3 3/4. Now you could go ahead and cut this one at 3 3/4, and that way you would have two cards ready to go. But let's go ahead and score it. Turn it the long way, and we're going to score at 5 1/4. Now make sure you have this cutting blade out of the way. We're going to close the arm, and then just let's give this a good crease. Now the first thing you're going to notice is, it's not scored evenly, but that's okay. That's exactly the way it's supposed to be. The base card goes like this, to where you have the long side toward the back and this short side toward the front. But now we need to go ahead and make our inner mechanism. So let's grab some white cardstock, and we are going to cut our inside mechanism at 3 1/2 by 9 1/4. So let's just cut that on the short side at 3 1/2. Now we're going to turn it long ways, and we're going to cut it at 9 1/4. Now we want to go ahead and score it at 5. And once again, you see this short side and the long side. The long side is going to go towards the back. But while we have this mechanism here, let's go ahead and create the pop-up. It is so easy to create. You can use your trimmer, yes, but let's go ahead and use just a ruler. Let's make it easy. We are going to put our ruler right at the bottom, and we're going to just put a little tick mark at 1 1/2, which is right here. And then we're going to scoot on over and put it at 2, right there. So we have our 2 tick marks. Now we're just going to measure up 3/4. And this is just so that we have our fold that we're going to do, because we don't want to cut past this mark. And you know the easy way to do this? Yes, you can put it in your trimmer, or guess what? Just grab your scissors. Now I'm going to hold this up so you can see it, and I'm just going to go straight up, right to that mark on both sides. And that's how easy it is to create that pop-up. Now, we're going to just take this and fold it up and give it a good crease and fold it back down. Now let's go ahead and erase those marks. I've said it before, we absolutely love the mono. Now, if you have a mechanical pencil like this eraser also works very well. It doesn't smear the pencil mark or leave anything gummy. Let's just get that erased. Now, the way I do this is I open it up like this, and I just put my finger and push up, and then I close it, just like that. Give this a good crease, and look at our cute little pop-up. So easy to do. Now, when we make our second card, we'll do this process again, so you'll be able to see it. The next thing we want to do is add it to our card. And remember, you add the short panel at the bottom and the long panel at the top. Now, this would be a good time if you want to go ahead and stamp your message, and that way, if you have an uh-oh, you can just create another one, right? But you want to make sure and get it in the right place. That's the tricky part. So before we stamp, let's go ahead and create our little tab that we need right at the top. And so what we're going to do, we're going to bring in our trimmer, and we're going to cut a tab that is 2.5 by 4 1/4. So I'm just going to cut the 4 1/4 first. Then I'm going to cut the 2.5. And we're going to score at 1 1/4. And this creates our tab that goes right at the top of our card. So we're going to take it, fold it over. And while we have this here, let's go ahead and create our little pop-up foundation that goes right here. And that's just a little piece of paper, and it needs to be 1 1/4 by 2.5. Just to give it a foundation for all your little images that you're going to put on the inside of your card. So just right there, that's where that little piece goes. So now let's look at this. This is going right on the top. So you want to make sure that you stamp your message down here, right? You need enough room. So what I'm going to do is just put a little pencil mark so that I know where to stamp my message. And now I can just make sure that it's right below this line. So I'm going to bring in my Night of Navy, tap, 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 and I'm going to put it right underneath this mark. I'm going to hold it so that all the ink can transfer. And look at how pretty. Now, when I bring in this eraser, you want to make sure your ink is completely dry, or just don't touch it because it could smear this ink. So I'm being very careful. Okay, and now we're ready to go ahead and lay this down. The easiest way to do this, go ahead and fold it just like this, and really sit this inside the card, all the way up against this score line, this crease right here. And now we're just going to add our glue right here. And look at that. Look at how cute that is. Now all we need to do is take the top part, fold it down, and add your glue. And there we have it. Look at that. Look how cute that is. Now the next thing that we want to do is bring in our patterned paper. And this is the pattern paper I want right on the front of the card. Remember, the short side goes up. And we are just going to put this just like this. Now, how do you connect this tab to your card? Well, I prefer to use strips. Now, you can use tear and tape, but it really doesn't give you any leeway. And I like it to have a little bit of a space so that this edge slips in much easier. So this is the way we're going to do it. I'm just taking off a little strip and I'm putting it right here. Now remember, you can use tear and tape if you want. On both sides. And this is just going to create a little canal or a guide as to where to put your card. And we need to add a little glue right here because we want our card to stick. So remember, the short piece goes up towards the front. We're just going to slide this in, and we're going to use our bone folder just to press it down. And then just fold this over right on top of those strips. Look at that. And then this just pops out just like this and goes back in. Now we want to go ahead and decorate this right here. So I just found some coordinating pattern paper in that packet. It's just the other side of the flowers. And I'm just going to lay that down right there. And I'm using wet glue because I want to wiggle, just in case I don't get it exactly where I want it. Now we're just going to pop this out. We're going to lay this down right on the front. And this is an excellent way to use your pattern paper that you're stashing, right? We want to use it. Now, I let the pattern paper do the work for me. I went ahead and I cut out some flowers. I cut out some leaves. And I'm just going to add them right to the front. Now, I'm going to set them up on some dimensionals. And I stamped a message, dear friend. Look at that. I got that message from Spotlight on Nature. And I'm just going to put that right here. Just run it right across the card. Now I'm going to have to use some mini dimensionals for this one. And we have the outside decorated. Look at that. But we still need our little pop-up finished, right? Once again, I let the pattern paper do the work for me. We have our little tab that we're going to put right here, and we're going to build on top of this. So let's go ahead and just lay this down. I need to bring in my silicone mat. Just going to put some tape on it and lay down this. So pretty. That's going to be our background. And then we're just going to start adding some flowers. Now we are going to lay it flat because it's the inside of this card. And we're just going to build and now you just want to put a little bit of tape right there. So let's make sure we don't go over because we don't want to glue it shut. And we're just lining it up and pressing it right there. And now when you open it up, look at that. You have plenty of room to write your message. You can also put some white paper on the back of this. And then to close it up, you just close it just like this. Are you ready to make another version of this? Let's do it. Now this time I'm going to use a few circles. And these are Spotlight on Nature dies. We already have our base card cut at 3 3/4 by 9 3/4. Remember, we have a shorter side and it goes just like this. We scored it at 5 1/4. We have our inside mechanism and it was cut at 3.5 by 9 1/4, scored at 5. And we're just going to come in and on this inside mechanism, let's go ahead and create our little pop-up. So we're going to line our ruler at the bottom, and we are going to put just a little tick mark at 1.5 and 2. Now, once again, you can do this in your trimmer. I just find it much easier just to use my scissors. Now, to know how far to cut in, you want to measure 3/4, and you want to put a little line, and that way you know exactly how far to cut. So let's go ahead and do that. We have our mark, and we're just cutting up to right there on both sides. Now, let's take our eraser, get that erased. And remember the easy way to do this. We're going to fold up. We're going to give it a good crease, just like that. Then we're going to just push it back down. We're going to open it, and we're just going to put our finger right in there and push it up. And then we're going to close it. And that automatically puts it in the right place so that we have our little fold. Look at that. How cute, right? We need to decide where we want to put our message. We have our tab cut right here already, and we know that this is 2.5 by 4 1/4, and we scored it out 1 1/4. We want to go ahead and just decorate it with some pretty DSP. And this DSP, look at what we're using. Oh my goodness. Happy, happy, right? This is called Celebration Sips. So let's go ahead and just get this laid down on top of our tab. We're going to go ahead and put our strips right here. Now we're just going to leave the backing on for just a moment because we want to see exactly where we want to put our inside sentiment. So let's just line everything up just like this. Let's close it. Let's pretend like this is up there. And let's put a little mark right there. So we want to stamp below this mark. So let's bring in our Night of Navy. Tap, tap, tap. We're going to erase our line. And now we can go ahead and lay this down. Remember, you push it all the way up against this fold right here. Let's make sure we have it side to side, the same margins. Let's go ahead and get our glue on. And we are just going to fold this over. And there we have the bottom. Now, to do the top, we just fold this over, put some glue on it. Fold it over and hold it. And there we have it. Look at how pretty. How easy is that, right? Now let's go ahead and we can add our tab. So we want to take our backing off. We want to add some glue right here. And we want to just slip our card in all the way and just push down. Now we're going to attach the sides. And now we just need to decorate the front. Look at this paper. Look at how fun this is. We're just going to add this right here. Right to the front of our card. And now we've just cut out some circles. Any circles, but we really like these because they have that decoration on the side. We're going to set that up. We cut out some cute little drinks, and we're going to add that right here. So I'm going to just glue this one down. And we're going to set up our little drinks just right there. Now you can barely see that purple, but it's just peeking out, right? And we have cut out a little sentiment, thinking of you. We're just going to put this right across the top. And I think we'll just lay it down. So let's bring in our silicone mat and use our tape runner to add a little tape. We're just going to add this right to the front. Oh, look at how cute that is. And we're just going to add it with some tape. You can't really center it because this is going to slip under. So let's make sure that we give it enough room. So we're going to center it from here to the bottom, from the bottom of this tab. So look at that. Fun, fun. And now we're just going to take this out and we just need to decorate this part. And what we've done is we cut that foundation because that is what we're going to put right on top of the pop-up. And look at what we've done. We cut out some more circles and we're going to add that right to the top of that foundation. So let's do that. Just going to put some tape, put it right on the top. It's going right there. Look at that. So pretty. And now we cut out a bunch of the drinks from the pattern paper. And what I like to do is I like to position them exactly the way I want. And then I just add some tape on the back. So we're just going to lay these down just like this. Let's put a little bit of tape here. Now remember, once again, you add just a little bit of tape right here on that strip. Just put that right there. And then we just shut it. And look at that. You go to close it, and then you open it up. How cute. Look at these cards. Now, I showed you this one earlier. It has those beautiful tulips. I'm grateful for you. Open it up, and there you have it. Look at this one. We stamped on the front of it, and then we stamped again on some paper and cut this out and just laid it on top. We added these cute little hearts with a few little gems, and you open it up. Look at that. Such a fun card to make. So we hope you were inspired by this matchbook card. It's an interactive surprise. We sure would appreciate it if you would take a moment and give us a like, share with your crafty friends, and it only takes a moment to subscribe. Well, until next time, Maudie and I wish you lots of creative moments. Bye-bye.